Pakistan has invited two of Iran's most senior officials to Islamabad for urgent consultations, as Tehran identifies Pakistan as its main mediator with the United States. National Assembly Speaker Ayaz Sadiq invited his Iranian counterpart, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, who is also a central figure in Tehran's negotiations with Washington. Foreign Minister Ishaq separately invited Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi after speaking with him on Monday. The dates of the visits have not been announced, but the diplomatic source said both officials had been asked to travel to Pakistan as soon as possible. Pakistan's Foreign Office said the discussions would cover regional and international developments, including the deteriorating situation in occupied East Jerusalem. The invitations come amid conflicting accounts from Washington and Tehran over whether negotiations to end their 5-month war are already underway. Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesman Ismail Bagher said Pakistan remained the main mediator, with Qatar providing assistance where necessary. He rejected suggestions that a new mediator had been added to the process. US President Donald Trump said on Sunday the United States is talking to Iran at Tehran's request, with support from Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Qatar. But Iran denies that direct negotiations with Washington are taking place. It says it is instead holding discussions with Oman and other countries to reduce tensions.
ما الان مذاکره‌ای با آمریکا نداریم. مذاکرات با عمان هست، متمرکز بر تفاهم بر سر مسیری که تردد ایمن کشتیرانی از تنگه هرمز رو تأمین بکنه.
The dispute has triggered another round of threats from Trump. On Monday, he accused Iran's leadership of being duplicitous and warned that Tehran had one final opportunity to reach an agreement before facing what he called decapitation.
Well, you don't know. I don't know. I think we're going to maybe get something, but I want to give him every last chance before decapitation. Very tough to do what we have planned, still planned. We'll see what happens. But it's a very, very tough thing to do. I think I'm very proud of the fact that I'll give people a chance. This is a big move. To do an attack that big on a country, I'd rather not do it. Now, we've already, through lots of large attacks, but they were normal large. Hopefully they'll come to their senses, because what happened cannot have a nuclear weapon, but hopefully they'll come to their senses.
Trump said he would maintain military pressure until Iran agreed to a deal or surrendered.
They're going on right now. It's an amazing thing. We have a little problem with Iran because we have many talks and we'll say we have or we don't have. We're straight about it. But they deny, but they're not denying it now. They just put out a statement not denying it. But for some reason, when they're talking, they don't like saying that they're talking. So I say, wait, we're in talks. Big deal, we're in talks. And they'll sometimes deny it, even though they spend hours and hours together talking. No, the talks are going along. We're going to hit them very hard yesterday, very, very hard, harder than any attack. I think I can say, General, from a point of knowledge, any attack since World War II. That's pretty big.
The threats came after he claimed to cancel planned strikes against Iran over the weekend. Trump claimed the operation would have been the largest attack since the Second World War. He said Saudi Arabia, the UAE and Qatar had urged him to give diplomacy more time because an agreement appeared possible. Saudi Crown Prince Mohammad bin Salman also spoke directly with Trump before the strikes were called off. At the center of the negotiations is the Strait of Hormuz, the narrow waterway that carried about a fifth of the world's traded oil and gas before the war. Iran is negotiating with Oman over a temporary route for ships to pass safely through the strait. Tehran says those discussions are close to completion, but it has not confirmed whether the entire waterway would reopen. Bagher said little would change while the US naval blockade and military operations continued. Trump, meanwhile, said Iran would not be allowed to charge ships for passing through the strait. He also claimed the US Navy had complete control of the waterway and would continue blocking Iran's ports until a broader agreement was reached. Pakistan previously brokered the Islamabad Memorandum of Understanding between Iran and the United States in June. That agreement was intended to reduce hostilities and restore shipping through Hormuz, but it failed to prevent further US strikes and Iranian retaliation. Islamabad and Qatar later proposed another ceasefire during nearly 2 weeks of renewed escalation. Pakistan kept a lower public profile since then, but has remained engaged through diplomatic channels. Economic concerns are also shaping the latest discussions. Iranian Trade Minister Mohammad traveled to Islamabad for meetings on bilateral trade and ways to move Iranian Iranian containers through Pakistani ports during the US blockade. He was also expected to meet Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif. Pakistan is now trying to bring Iran's political and diplomatic leadership to Islamabad as Washington combines threats of overwhelming force with an offer of negotiation. But the two sides still disagree over whether talks have begun, who controls the Strait of Hormuz, and what any final agreement would require. The immediate question is whether Pakistan's renewed mediation can turn the temporary pause in US strikes into formal negotiations before the threat of military escalation returns.